For thousands of years, intelligence didn't have a numerical value. It was a quality observed through wisdom, strategy, or craftsmanship. Early societies lacked the need for standardized metrics. Because communities were small and local, social sorting happened naturally through apprenticeships, family ties, or religious authority. This informal system collapsed under the weight of the 18th and 19th centuries. Rapid population growth and urbanization forced people into complex, crowded environments where they were no longer known by their neighbors. Governments and industries faced a massive logistical challenge, assigning millions of citizens to schools, factory floors, and administrative roles as efficiently as possible. The drive to measure intelligence grew from this bureaucratic necessity. Institutions required a scalable way to rank and organize human beings at an industrial level. Francis Galton was the first to attempt an objective measurement of the mind. He operated on the belief that intelligence was an inherited, biological trait that could be calculated with precision. Galton's laboratory used physical traits, reaction times, and sensory tests to determine an individual's intellectual rank. Galton's specific methods failed to provide meaningful data, but he successfully introduced the premise that the human mind is a measurable, rankable commodity. In the early 1900s, mandatory education laws in France flooded schools with students who progressed at different rates, creating an immediate crisis for teachers. Alfred Binet was commissioned to solve this. His goal was compassionate and specific, to create a tool that could identify children who were struggling so the state could provide them with extra help. Binet's solution was the concept of mental age. By measuring attention and memory against a baseline average, he could identify a specific learning gap for each child. Binet warned that human intelligence was far too complex to be captured by a single, rigid number. He insisted his metric should never be used to label a child permanently. Large institutions ignored that warning. They prioritized a definitive sorting machine over a nuanced diagnostic tool. The American psychologists exported Binet's work, stripped away its diagnostic context, and standardized it into the intelligence quotient, the IQ test. World War I provided the ultimate test for this new metric. The U.S. military needed to classify millions of recruits as quickly as possible. The military deployed mass IQ testing to separate officer material from frontline infantry, processing vast numbers of people on an unprecedented scale. Many governments found these tests appealing because they were fast, inexpensive, and gave administrative decisions a facade of mathematical objectivity. This marked the moment the test was hijacked. An assessment built as a lifeline for struggling students became a control mechanism for sorting entire populations. Figures like Lewis Terman popularized these scores in civilian life, using them to enforce strict social hierarchies in schools and workplaces. Institutions cited test scores to limit professional opportunities and justify racial discrimination, claiming the data made these decisions unbiased. The eugenics movement used these metrics to argue that intelligence was genetically fixed and unequal, turning testing into a tool for social engineering. This created a powerful illusion. When human biases are converted into numerical data, society begins to treat those biases as objective facts. Despite this history, intelligence measurement remains deeply embedded in our schools and corporate hiring processes. Modern science suggests intelligence is context-dependent, encompassing emotional, creative, and logical dimensions that no single test can capture. The risk of measuring intelligence was never just about whether the math was accurate. It was about how quickly we use that math to determine our worth.